So over the last few months, I've been experimenting with putting houseplants on top of my aquarium, and I've done it on all my different tanks, even my nano tank. So today I have a few more plants I want to add to this tank and make it an absolute jungle over the next couple weeks. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do it, the entire process from soil to water. So of course I got these nice big monsteras in the tank. They've been in there for a few weeks. As you see, this one's kind of drooping. I just recently moved it. It's kind of readjusting. But I have them, well, I have one of them in a plant hanging basket, and then this one is like suction cup to the side, and then I have some wire holding it in place. As you can see though, the water roots are really starting to take off. They're all over the place, kind of spread out throughout this whole area. In the beginning with the monstera, there was definitely some root rot. The roots that I stuck in the water started to rot, and I just had to peel it off and pretty much take it out of the tank. Some of it fell to the bottom, like there's a little bit of a piece right there, but it's honestly not too harmful in such a large system with so many plants and good filtration. But you definitely want to watch out for root rot. If you start to see it, make sure to just cut the roots off so that it doesn't make your water all toxic. With this coleus plant, I tried to stick it in a jar of water before sticking it in the aquarium, and honestly that did not work very well at all. The leaf started drooping and it almost died. Once I transferred it into the tank the next day, it honestly perked back up and was alive again. And now as you can see, there's a ton of new growth coming out of this thing. The leaves are doing really well. There's even some new leaves down here, and the roots are just taking off. Then I stuck this other coleus plant in. It has flowers on it. I saw a lot of people say that when they flower, they die. So if you cut off the flower, it should live. I'm not really sure. This one's still fairly new in the tank, but it is doing okay. The leaves aren't drooping. It looks pretty alive. And the roots on this one are honestly looking pretty good as well. Overall, what made me want to get into this is just the look of it. It looks really cool when the whole top of your tank is just covered in plants. But there is a bunch of benefits to adding plants like this above your tank. The roots will suck out all the excess nutrients in the tank, which is beneficial for the plants and for your aquarium's health. And this tank is just absolutely thriving. The plants are freaking massive. The whole back is almost covered. I'm gonna have to actually trim this thing pretty soon, but it's looking so full and dense. I love the way this tank has turned out. And now I just want to make the jungle continue upwards and fill the entire top with plants eventually. Like I said, I have a bunch more plants that I need to add. I'm not sure exactly which ones I'm going to do first. I definitely want to do this one because it's, oh my goodness. I want to do this one because it's not doing super well in soil. I'm not very good at keeping soil plants alive. That's why I like to stick them in my tanks. But this marble queen pothos is like honestly one of the coolest plants I've ever seen. It is so cool. It's by far my favorite. And I've been wanting to stick this one in the tank for a while now, so I'll start with that and show you guys the entire process. So I'm gonna take this beauty outside, get it out of the soil, and rinse off all the roots. Alright, once you get the roots washed off, you'll be left with something kind of like this. You want to make sure to get as much of the soil as you can off, because technically soil can be poisonous to your fish, like the pesticides and the fertilizers and stuff in them. But honestly, I've never had any issue with it with any plant before. So as you can see, I pretty much got most of the soil. I'd say like 99% of it. There could be a little bit left over, but like I said, I've never had any issue with it. And then like the monstera, I'm going to be using a plant hanging basket. You can DIY this. You can use a water bottle, plant hanging wire. There's so many different ways you can do this. But honestly, one of these plant hanging baskets is like the best way to do it. I'll link these in the description below. So since this plant kind of vines, I think the best spot for it, for me at least, I'm going to stick it right here, kind of in this front corner. You can't really see that, and then I'm going to have it droop over the side. It'll kind of hide this canister filter outlet, and I think it'll just look cool coming down the side of the tank. At this point, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have one of these plant hanging baskets, you pretty much just shove the roots down in there. Make sure you only have the roots in the water. You don't necessarily want the whole stem in the water because it'll start to rot. But with pothos plants, honestly, they love to be in aquariums. They usually do really well. I have some in my 36 gallon, and it started as one leaf and it's now kind of a whole vine like this one. And for this kind of plant, it was honestly pretty easy. As you can see, I just shoved the roots down in there and now it's kind of just staying. That was one of the easier ones. Bigger plants like monstera, you gotta kind of support them. And then with this one, it's a little bit loose. I gotta maybe support it eventually. But this one was honestly really easy, and I love that about pothos plants. They're just usually pretty easy to hang on the side of your tanks. And I think this one looks super sick. I've been wanting to add that one forever. I think I'm gonna do a couple more plants. I wanna do this other coleus plant. This one's really nice and I just don't want it to die. There's already some like dead leaves and stuff. And then I might do one of these Swiss cheese monsteras. I think these look pretty cool and I don't want these to die either. So it's pretty much the same process for any plant. You want to take it out of the soil, wash off the roots as much as you possibly can of all the soil, and then you're ready to stick it in your tank. So the monstera was fairly easy to rinse. Honestly, the soil came right off. But then with this coleus plant, the roots were massive, honestly, like the whole size of the freaking pot. So they went everywhere, all around the soil. I kind of had to get most of the roots off. So this one has some pretty thick roots, so I think it should kind of stay snug by itself. If I have to adjust it or tie it to it, I can use some type of wire or something. I'm thinking this back corner will look pretty cool. There's not really a plant over here yet, so there we go. Honestly, it does kind of hold itself up there. I may have to secure it eventually, but right now, honestly, that one worked perfectly. As you can see, just the roots are in the water, the stem's just barely above the water, and it looks freaking amazing. All right, for this plant, since the basket is a little thick, I can't really just stick it in there. It'll kind of fall all the way through. So I'm gonna have to DIY something up to kind of secure it to the side of the tank, to the side of the pot. Okay, I've never used airline tubing before, but honestly it worked. The plant's pretty secure. It's not coming out of there. Now I just gotta figure out how to hook this to the tank. Since my tank is too thick for this little basket, okay, I figured it out. I'm gonna break this piece off real quick since it doesn't really work for my tank anyways. And then I have this larger basket. I can literally just stick this basket inside of it. And there we go. I got 3 more plants in. I think it looks really good. These 2 over here look honestly nice. I've decided this looks okay for now. Honestly, it just kind of fills it in and makes it look better. Then of course those 2 coleus plants are doing great, the monstera and this amazing marble queen pothos. I love it so much. I can't wait till it vines down the tank. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to see what plants I add next and all my future projects.